Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, North Metro. I'm Reverend Michael Torphy.
I'm Reverend Valerie Torphy.
I'm Sheila Fossen.
And I'm Greg Fossen. We do the broadcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ernestina Garcia, and I do the readings.
And I'm Annie Benjamin, and I'm going to be singing for you today.
Yay.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's start out with evocation. So just turn within to that marvelous, miraculous place of dwelling in the wholeness, in the oneness, in the love, in the peace, harmony, creativity is all right there at the center of our being, beckoning us forward to be our greatest yet to be. And so I bless this time together, accepting for each one of us that we get exactly what we came here to get, and we give as we go through the week. For this and so much more, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's easy to release now into the love, into the law, simply by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
So it is. And I'll put up the purpose. There.
The purpose of our spiritual community is to be a spiritual community, to be supportive to all those who are seeking support, to practice and live unconditional love, to be non-judgmental and forgiving, to embrace oneness, to join all others who want to co-create a world that works for everyone, all cultures, all races, all sexual orientations, and all life. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
We're blessed to have my musician. And
Are you ready for a song? Okay. This song is called Sing Me a Song. Oh, sing me a song. I don't care how it starts. The words won't be wrong if it comes from your heart. This is where I belong. Sing me a song. And when you say that you love me in the gentlest ways, I am beautiful and free, and the dark becomes a day. Yeah, the sun's gonna shine when you say you love me. And I'm walking on the moon. Oh, you take my breath away. You're the lifeline that I need when I'm floating out in space. And when you sit down beside me and you whisper my name, I no longer feel the wounds, and I know you feel the same. Everything's new when I sit down beside you. Do-do-da-da-da-da. La-da-da. Lo-do-do-do. La-da-dee-do-da-da. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking on the moon. Oh, you take my breath away. You're the lifeline that I need when I'm floating out in space. Oh, sing me a song. I don't care how it starts. The words won't be wrong, 'cause I know it's coming from your heart. This is where we belong. Sing me a song. This is where we belong. Sing me a song. This is where we belong. Sing song.
Yay.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, powerful intention behind that song. I appreciate it. So we'll be back to you shortly. We have some other things we need to do. Thank you for that song.
So I invite you to visit our website, cslnorthmetro.org. And there are a lot of good things out there. Reverend Michael writes a blog. I just actually put a new one up this week, so it's one you haven't read. And we put the affirmations and the prayer that Stephen Anthony writes. So, if you ever just feel like you need a prayer, it's really easy to just go to our website, cslnorthmetro.org, and there's affirmations out there, there's really good prayers out there, and lots of other good stuff. So we also invite you to help support us do this thing that we do. We think it's meaningful, and hopefully it's meaningful to you too. And so we just invite you also on our website. You can go right there and you can donate right there. There's a link to Venmo on your screen, but there's also another link on the website. You can use debit cards, and our address is there too. So if you're a person that uses checks, we take those too, and we thank you. Now it's time for Annie.
Yes.
Well, you know that life brings changes, and sometimes those changes come along when the timing don't seem right. But if you paid attention to your lessons, ooh, then you know that everything is gonna be all right. So don't forget life's blessings. Keep love in your heart. Let's do that one more time. Don't forget life's blessings. Keep love in your heart. Just keep love in your heart. And sometimes that road you're traveling on, it goes on and on and on and on and on for miles. And even the strongest souls can go astray. But if you keep your eyes toward heaven, ooh, then you know that your friends won't ever be far away. And don't forget life's blessings. Keep love in your heart. And just when you think that you've seen the darkest, hours ever known by anyone, with just you remember shadows, ooh, they would not exist without the light from the sun. So don't forget life's blessings. You got a lot of them. And keep love in your heart. Don't forget life's blessings. And keep love in your heart.
Yes, yes, yes,
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
yes. So we're going to move on and take care of some other business, and then we'll get back to you certainly. So we have Dr. Ernestina.
Yes, what beautiful music. And it looks like I'm going to be talking more about love. So, anyway, affirmations for the week of August 31st, 2025, written for us with love. And we have gratitude by Stephen Anthony. Please repeat after me, if you like, of course. I release worry and embrace solace within.
I release worry and embrace solace within.
I navigate all challenges with grace, growth, and healing.
I navigate all challenges with grace, growth, and healing.
I embrace compassionate love for myself and all others.
I embrace compassionate love for myself and all others.
Inner peace manifests through my actions and words.
Inner peace
Manifest through my actions and words.
I celebrate God's life through everyone I encounter.
I celebrate God's life through everyone I encounter.
I am grateful for the divine energy in all things.
I am grateful for the divine energy in all things.
And together we say,
And so it is.
is. Okay, the reading today, selected by the Reverends, is from Agape's Inner Visions, excuse me, the February 2018 edition by Michael Bernard Beckwith. Bartlett's Familiar Quotations was written in 1855 and remains the longest lived, most widely distributed American reference book of quotations. Would it surprise you to learn that among its 1,504 pages, love is the most frequently searched topic? It is no wonder, really, for love itself ceaselessly courts us, drawing us into its magnetic field, inviting us to merge with its essence in a state of mystical union. In that moment, when we surrender to its gravitational pull, we are transfigured. Its radiance pieces our being and transports us into a state of divine communication where love, loving, and lover become one. Love is the ultimate authentic religion. When we taste its flavor and feel its embrace, we are in the realm of mystical lovers. In her writings, the Catholic mystic Hildegard Bengijn describes such states of consciousness as the soul is kissed by God in its innermost regions. These innermost regions are the heart and soul of us, which are entered through our spiritual practices of meditation and affirmative prayer. As the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, taught his own disciples, it is in the solitude of the soul that we commune with the beloved. When thou prayest, he instructed, enter into thy closet, the soul. And when thou hast shut thy door to external concerns, pray to thy Father which is in secret within you. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly with its grace of unconditional love. Love is the most practical state of being because through it we see the world as Spirit sees it. We relate to it and with the world and all beings through right seeing, through the 2020 vision of a Christ, a Buddha, in other words, through our own true awakened nature. And together we say, and so
So
it
it
is.
is. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got more music?
We do.
This song is called Calm in the Chaos,
Oh,
Yay.
which goes perfectly with that reading because the teaching that you have to go into yourself to find that perfect, beautiful love first, I think is just so beautiful. So here we go. I need some calm in the middle of the chaos, 'cause the world is too loud and I want to turn it off. When the dark growing clouds are all I see, calm in the chaos is what I need. My head is heavy and it's aching, and I feel like I'm on the edge of something breaking. If I just sit and breathe, I'll remember the dream. 'Cause calm in the chaos is what I need. Calm in the middle of the chaos, 'cause the world outside my window screaming, all is lost, but that's not what I really believe. Calm in the chaos is what I need. Come sit in silence with me, away from the noisy TV. When we begin to start to listen with the hearts, that's when we begin to find love again. And there's so many storms we gotta weather. It's better when we face them together. When peace and love entwine, it's a better state of mind. And calm in the chaos is what we find. We need calm in the middle of the chaos, 'cause the world is really beautiful. Oh, Picasso, and that's what we really want to believe. 'Cause calm in the chaos is what we need. Calm in the chaos is what we need. A little calm in the chaos is what we need.
I'm convinced you've seen our living room.
I was just thinking oh, that's what we need. We're doing some remodeling and everything is
Chaotic.
Oh, my bag just arrived.
Yeah. You brought the right song for
You
us.
did.
Thank you.
It was, yeah.
We'll see you a little later after we do our thing. That was Annie Benjamin singing a song specifically for me and you. I think you need to make our screen.
Oh, I do. Sorry.
There we go.
Now we'll quit bouncing.
Yeah. I want to read this quote by Walter Starkey, who is a wonderful New Thought teacher. He's not with us any longer, but I got to meet him when I was registrar at Agape. And he's just a beautiful man with deep, deep ideas and thoughts. But this is what he says. Only those who can take their eyes off the material or the objective world for a moment and feel or listen to the spirit can consciously understand with their spirit. And for me, that means that brings up the idea that on a human level, we all see our life experiences from our own personal perspective. I see myself as a powerful person, and somebody else may see me as this weak person because I'm not standing up and doing something they want. So there's a perspective that we have to deal with at all times on the human level. However, when we rise above the human and see the spiritual perspective, we would be able to observe from a larger viewpoint, from God's eye view. Now, to give a demonstration of that, I may see a body of water and call it a creek. Someone else may say no, it's a stream. A child at play may think it's a river, but there's just this one thing happening, water flowing. The word water is just a label of a particular something to identify what we agree we're seeing. So when I say water, all of us have an idea what that is. So words can affect a lot of things in our life. So to move from the human into the God's eye view is an important part of our spiritual practice. There's a goal that we can set, that we want to get to the place where we make all decisions and all discernments from that higher point of view, from God's point of view. So going along with the water thing, from a smaller perspective, we see that the stream, the creek, and the river just a minute. From a smaller perspective, we see that these three bodies of water are a minuscule part of the abundance of water known to us. If we're in the wilderness and we're thirsty, it doesn't make any difference what it is. If it's a river or a lake, we just want to quench our thirst. You pull back a little further and be standing on the moon, we see this small little planet, mostly 70% blue, and how magnificent it is to sustain 7 billion people, all the animals, all the birds, all the bugs and the bacteria, it's sustaining it all. So looking down on it, it seems so small, this little tiny planet. But what the water does is amazing. So anything the mind takes in may have different perspectives according to who's observing it. how we may be looking at it, and from whatever emotion we may be going on in our lives at the time. These can all affect our perspective.
Can I remember that story about the blind people looking at the elephant? So they're each, I can't remember how many there were, but they're each on a different part of the elephant. So one of them feels the trunk and can tell that the elephant has this long trunk, and somebody else feels the leg and feels like a tree trunk, like solid like that, and somebody else feels the tail. And so they all have absolutely, completely different perspectives of what that elephant is based on the part that they're able to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were saying. But for me, putting it in a picture in my mind helps me go, oh, yeah, because we can all be looking at exactly the same thing. But because of whatever's going on in our thoughts and our lives at the time, we may get a totally different point of view on what it is we just saw.
Mhm. There's so many things that can affect our perspective of witnessing, say, even an accident.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you ask each person what they saw, and they'll describe it in different ways, even though they saw it from the same point of view, but they didn't take it. They didn't get the God's eye point of view,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we're talking about. So regardless of what we call it, what we must find the desire to open up to a higher perspective. Anything so regardless of what we're called to be open.
Mm-hmm.
Openness is where we create a space for allowing the Spirit of God to reveal itself in the nature of who we are. And being it affords us to the possibilities of observing anything from God's eye view.
So we're talking about from the largest perspective to the smallest. And so what I will be looking at things from my eye view, and what I see can be distorted by what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I might see a little puddle while you're seeing a big stream, just because I have a different point of view on things. And so I think it's important to recognize that each of us has our own memories and our own beliefs. And so when we have a disagreement or a different thought than somebody else, it's just because they're coming at it from a different angle. And we might both be right. We might both be wrong, but we also might both be right. And so sometimes if things aren't going in a way that we want, instead of trying to change the thing, it might be time to look inside and change, how am I thinking about this? What am I thinking that's making this seem like it's this and like it's that? And so I think sometimes when things aren't going the way we want, we have a tendency to put that out away from us, that somebody else isn't doing things right, or this isn't right, or that isn't right. And what's really needed is, oh, I get to change how I'm looking at it and how I'm thinking about it and what I'm going to do about it. And then everything can change just with us changing our own thoughts about what might be happening.
That's very well put. So this thing of openness, what does it mean? Well, for me, it means witnessing the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're here and you're witnessing any experience,
Mm-hmm.
and then witnessing your perspective of that. You can do that. We can say, well, I saw this accident, and my perspective was this: there was nobody injured, but But what may be going through my mind is, well, what if they don't know that they got a concussion? What if they really were injured? So you can travel all over the place, just trying to draw what your perspective is seeing. And next is witnessing any judgment you may or bias that you may have, because if I didn't like the person in the car, I might be happy that they got hurt.
You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. But there's a bias that you have against this person, and people have been jailed just by false witnessing. So, and then after being with all this, allowing it to just dissipate into the nothing, and you're in that nothingness, and you can see clarity, and you spring forward as a witness to, and not an observer of, but a witness to. If I humanly look at the world from all perspectives, knowing that the absolute truth is revealed to me in time on time, I will then see all my experiences from God's perspective, from the God's eye view. And what a wonderful thing that is.
So that would mean that we're like letting go of all of our judgments, and we're letting go of maybe needing to be right, and we're letting go of maybe needing to make the other person wrong, and we're letting go of any thoughts about the situation that are. I know that they talk about how asking different points of view of things, and everybody has a different perspective, and we all saw the same thing. And so as we remember that everything we're thinking and everything we're saying has to do with our previous thoughts and our previous experiences. And so once we begin to realize my perspective is only one perspective, it's not the whole thing, and it's not the right thing. It's just my perspective, and I might be right and the other person might be right too, and we might have totally different ideas about things, and it's okay.
Yes.
We don't have to go make them wrong so we can be right.
Yes. We all have a choice to self-examine.
Oh,
Yeah. Try that and
yeah, let's
have
do
some
that.
fun. But it's true to determine if we're being protective, if we're coming from a place of protecting ourselves because we're fearful of we get hurt, or if we're biased. We've already made up our mind because we know the truth. I experienced it back in 1994, and it's still the same. Or it's from the highest level of love, from the innermost center of our being to everything else outside of our being.
Yes.
So in here, out there. And it takes practice, and it takes a desire to want to practice. When I came into this teaching, I just wanted to spend my whole life practicing. And I, for the most part, feel I can do that. But when things happen that upset me or hurt me, I could follow the perspective of what I'm feeling and seeing instead of closing my eyes, center myself, and just telling myself, it's all okay. Everything is fine. It's divine order. And you will never be forsaken, never be left out. You'll always be guided when asked for guidance. And it'll always be the highest form of ideas that could possibly be revealed to each and every one of us.
And when we're going through the thing, we're often not thinking clearly because I was thinking just now about the time when you couldn't find your keys. And we looked everywhere. We just looked everywhere. And they obviously had to be in the house because he was home. And And the more you look for places, the more you can't figure out where it is. And when we finally found them, they were in his pocket when he hung up his pants, and they fell out into his shoe. And so we can let ourselves get all stressed, and we can be upset about things, and we can think maybe somebody else took it in his place. I'm not saying you did any of those things, because you don't behave that way, but a lot of us have a tendency to maybe think somebody else moved it. I know where I put those keys, and somebody else must have moved it. Or, you can think of your own examples of things like that, and then to realize, oh, I left him in my pocket and he dropped it right into my shoe. And how often could that possibly happen? And it gives us the opportunity to realize that when we try to keep ourselves open to whatever the possibility might be, and not have to go to, oh, somebody must have taken them, or this happened, or that happened, or I couldn't possibly be wrong, so that must make you wrong, into, I wonder if I rethink the thing that happened and how I might be able to look at it from a different perspective and learn from whatever the situation was, and come out a little larger and a little more open-minded and a little bigger. Instead of sometimes when we think we need to blame someone else, I think we come out smaller and more compact and less open and less willing. And giving up the need to be right is a really, really mind-altering and experience-altering experience, to just be, and not have to blame, not have to know, and just be. You're really good at that. And I think so many of us grew up in that it's this or it's that, and
Yeah. It's right or it's wrong.
it's right or it's wrong, and you shouldn't have gotten that B because you're smarter than that. And I mean, on and on and on and on. You can think of those things where the criticism was coming from without, and sometimes we then take it on within, and then we start believing things about ourselves that just really aren't even true, and we don't have to take on.
So, still yourself
Mm-hmm.
and know that I am. I still myself and know that I am. And I let go of my judgments,
Mm-hmm.
my perspective on the situation,
Mm-hmm.
my preconceived ideas. I just let it all go and open it up to God's eye view. And it will come when it comes. You can't rush it. You can't say it's got to come by this date. You just allow it to reveal itself. And that which you humanly may have called this, through your opening to God's eye view, you see the truth. And that this has no more power over you.
Mm-hmm.
That this is gone.
Yeah, and you might be led in an entirely different direction than you thought you wanted to go.
Mhm.
Whole new thing opens up, and you
So,
have total new experience.
so let God see through your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And let your eyes see through God. In any case,
Mm-hmm.
it's a new way of being. Would you like to pray?
Yeah, I would. So I'm just going to invite you to take a nice deep cleansing breath and close your eyes. Make sure you're comfortable in your seat wherever you are. Just as we recognize there's one life, one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence in, as, and through all that is. Everywhere present, all of the time. There's no thing that is not part of God, no thing that is not one with God. And so right where we are, we recognize that oneness, that allness, that isness, and we breathe it in as our lives, as God living our lives, as God being the expression of us in this world. And as we begin to realize that we are one with God, one with each other, one with all that is, we can begin to release the judgment on ourselves, on others, on everything that is, and we can just be that space of love and be that space of peace and be that space of wholeness, and know that right where we are, God is, regardless of what might be the external experience, the internal experience can be peace. It can be love. It can be light. It can be open and aware of the oneness. Always, always, always. And as we begin to do that, we can release the judgment we might have had on something else or somebody else, and just know that if we hold that peace within ourselves, regardless of the things that are going on outside, we can expand that peace. We can expand that love. We can expand that light. And we just hold that space for everyone and know it is the truth. And so I surround us all with love and with light and with peace and with abundance and prosperity and joy and oneness. And in absolute gratitude to know that this is the truth, that it is already happening in the mind of God. It is expanding. It is becoming form right here and right now. And so in absolute gratitude for knowing this is true, I can release it. I can let it go. I can allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen, amen, ashe, aho, and woo-hoo.
This is a song I'm going to sing for y'all that was written by Julie Gold, who is an amazing songwriter. And there was a lot of versions of this song. Bette Midler did this song, and Nancy Griffith did this song too. And I hope you enjoyed it. It's called From a Distance. And when we're talking about a God's eye view, this was the first song that popped into my mind. It's a beautiful song. From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of everyone. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope. They're the songs of peace. They're the songs of everyone. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I can't comprehend what all this fighting is for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes. It's the love of loves. It's the heart of everyone. It's the hope of hopes. It's the love of loves. This is the song of everyone. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. And from a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
I can't believe how we didn't talk to each other about what you're going to sing and how connected you were to our song, to our song.
Isn't it wonderful?
I love when that happens.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I think we should have another round of applause.
We didn't get in on it.
Yeah, it's nice,
That's a cool song.
Very cool.
it's nice for you to be able to see us clapping too.
And I love the way it brought in from a distance, from a different perspective, from a God's view. It just tied it all together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
Since you said the blue and green, it's just like, wow, this is going to be about my talk.
Line about the ocean meets the stream.
Yeah.
When you were talking about how it's a stream or a river or a brook, or we all have different names for the same thing.
Yeah,
It was perfect. It was just a perfect song.
it was. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate you. So, Reverend Valley and I need to close this out and spend a little bit of time with you all at the, after we're closed down and we're streaming. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, here's there in the comments, there is a link that you can just tells you what to do to just stay on after we close. And
Well,
you can be part of the,
They don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody that's watching can use that. We don't have anybody watching at this moment though.
yeah.
Okay. I think most people watch later. I know a lot of our neighbors say, well, we go to this church and then we watch yours.
Yeah.
And that's nice. We're really happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to pray us out?
No, you pray.
Me pray us out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to invite you to take another nice deep breath. As we recognize the oneness, the allness, the isness, the one power, the one presence, the one life that is each and every one of us and all of us. And as we begin to expand our awareness and understand that we see ourselves as this one separate being, and as we begin to be aware of the inner self of us, that soul of us that is outside the body that we see, and in fact actually touching and being one with all of the others. And we recognize that as we expand our awareness and accept each person as they are and accept exactly all the things and just be that space of truth and be that space of peace and be that space of harmony, we can expand that out into the world and out into our presence and out into all of the places where there is war and there is hunger and there is panic and there is illness, and just hold that space of knowingness that all is well in God and that we are all expanding into that space of oneness. And so I just allow this to be an absolute gratitude. I bless each one that helped us with the service today, each one that watches it now and later. And I'm just so grateful to know that right where we are, God is. So I allow it to be, I let it go, and together we say, and so it is.
It is. We'll be right back here.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
And stream. End stream.